is in Africa right now. He got this experiment where they're going to implant newborn babies in Kenya with this tracking device. And the Kenyan government is letting him do it. They're going to put tracking devices in the babies. But guess what else he's doing? He's working with the African Union. He's trying to force the African Union to stop all the farmers in Africa from using organic seed. He wants them to only use genetically modified seed that he sells them. They want to wipe us out through disease and starvation. They are also turning us into a landless race. When I was in the UK a few weeks ago, all I kept hearing about is how they gentrifying us. When I was in the Caribbean, Black Island, they gentrifying us. You feel me? Yeah. They want to make black people a landless people. And once we don't own no land, we effectively in slavery again. If you don't own any land, you are completely subject to the will of those who do.
The real reason that we invaded Iraq, because you and I have been lied to our entire lives. In part 1, we talked about how an archaeologist discovered the ancient city of Uruk in modern-day Iraq, and then he discovered the tomb of Gilgamesh, and coincidentally, a few months after, we invaded Iraq. Well, buckle up, because this goes so much deeper than just his tomb. Now for this video, we have to go back to the days immediately following the flood, and this brings us to Genesis 10. Genesis 10 is the genealogy of Noah. Genesis 10:1 tells us that the 3 sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Down it says Ham had Cush, and then Cush had Nimrod. So Nimrod in the Bible is Noah's great-grandson. Now why am I talking about Nimrod? Because Nimrod is Gilgamesh. In the Bible, we learn that Nimrod established a very large kingdom. He was essentially the first king of the world, and it also says that he ruled over all of the other sons of Noah. Now, because of this, there were many different peoples that would write about Nimrod. It was their personal account of who Nimrod was. The Babylonians wrote about him, the Assyrians wrote about him, the Hittites wrote about him. It says even in Palestine, tablets have been found with this man's name on them. He was obviously the most popular hero in the ancient Near East. And of course, the Sumerians wrote about him in the Epic of Gilgamesh. We go back to Genesis 10 to find out about Nimrod's kingdom. This is Genesis 10:8. And it says up at the top, he began to be a mighty one on the earth. We'll go back to that verse later. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land.
Would you believe me that Google says that if you stare at the sun for 2 minutes straight, you go blind for the rest of your life?
I think it's been 2 minutes and you've been staring at the sun.
And I've been doing it for 5 or 6 years, a couple hours a day. It's euphoric. You get vitamin D, vitamin A, melatonin, melanin, serotonin, and dopamine released from staring at the sun.
So staring at the sun cannot hurt your eyes or make you blind?
Everyone is brainwashed that the sun would hurt their eyes.
So do you think I'm losing out on vitamin D wearing sunglasses right now?
I don't think you're missing out. I know you are. People that wear sunglasses, the eyes are covered from the sun. The eyes are covered, and it tricks the brain into thinking that there's no sunshine. The brain doesn't release the chemicals, vitamin D, vitamin A, melatonin, all the things that your body needs to be healthy.
Massive Titan helmet was found in the ocean. Now it's time for you to let go of the Matrix. Now it's time for you to let go of the lies and information you've been told. The history books, they forgot to tell us about this, didn't they? And look, if you see, up here, there's a gash. There's a gash at the top. And that's where he probably got hit, and that's how he got deleted. Because if you know, the Nephilim giants were created because the fallen angels, the Watchers, came down to Earth and had relations with human women and created huge giants, huge titans, hundreds of feet tall. They were called the Nephilim. The offspring of the Nephilim, we'll get into that in a second. So if you didn't know there's different types of Nephilim, there's 3 main classes of Nephilim. They're not all the same, all right? Nephilim giants came to Earth because the Watchers in the firmament were looking at the human women and they wanted to have wives or procreate with them. So they came down and they created giants, men and women. Okay, because the offspring of the Nephilim were called the Eliad, and the offspring of the Eliad were called the Gibberim. These are probably the Gibberim, the Goliath-sized people. All right, these are probably the Eliad, anywhere from 50 to 100 feet. Ooh, and then the Nephilim were hundreds of feet. And in the book of Enoch, it talks about Els, which is the measurement of height. And some scholars believe that they were possibly thousands of feet tall. which is inconceivable, but there is evidence of giant petrified creatures throughout the world. The reason why the Nephilim were created in the first place is because the angels were not satisfied with their position. They weren't satisfied with what God gave them. It wasn't enough for them. And we have the same problem, right? God is not enough for a lot of us. And so these dudes were all over the place. You know, it got to a point where the Nephilim giants were no longer being satiated by the food being presented by the humans. And then the giants started eating the people. Okay, so that's why you have shows like Attack on Titan showing that kind of activity. And that's what happened back in the day before the flood. All right? And so and then it gets to a point where the giants start fighting each other, which is why you have huge pieces of armor, huge helmets and stuff being found, at least that one anyway, because they eventually start fighting each other, and that's what God caused them to do. If you look at the book of Enoch, it explains how the fallen angels tried to get back into God's good grace. The Nephilim started wiping each other out. That's why the flood happened. It was anarchy and chaos everywhere. Imagine people like that, men and women like this, walking around, destroying your villages, crushing your people, eating the people, fighting amongst themselves in your countryside or in your city. This is all from deviating from God's will. When we deviate from God's will, when we disobey the Lord, disobey Christ, imagine if, Lucifer never rebelled, what things would be like right now. Imagine if the Watchers never came down. There wouldn't be no flood. You know what I'm saying? So, obedience to God, obedience to Christ is uncomfortable sometimes, but it is for our benefit. God knows what's best for us, okay? You end up having giants crushing people, you causing all kinds of problems in your life and other people's lives, and you deviate from God's plan. Yes, I just did a little sermon. So this first wave of Nephilim giants back in the day, they were tall, they were strong, and they were seen as gods by the humans. But they're all gone. They got wiped out. They came back after the flood, according to the book of Numbers. Joshua was scouting out the promised land, and the son of the Anakim were there, of the Nephilim. But this first wave, the huge ones, the 100 feet tall ones, they're gone. They're wiped out. They could not withstand the power of God. They cannot resist the authority of Christ, who is God. Okay? So the point of this video is to show you that there is physical evidence of the things in the Bible, of these giants. I mean, Abraham Lincoln talks about giants. It's almost not even a conspiracy to believe that giants were real and are real. Okay? So the Bible is true. And the whole story of the Bible points to one person, who is Jesus Christ, who is God in the flesh. Now, I don't want you guys to be confused. I'm just making conspiracy videos for fun, put myself out there for flat earth and all this stuff. No. The only reason why I talk about any of this stuff is because I want you to know that Jesus Christ loves you. He is God in the flesh, and there is no other way to be saved.
Amen.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this channel, is to expose the lies, share the truth of Jesus Christ, and help us wake up from the matrix.
Get this. Labour explaining what happens if you just don't want a digital ID card.
Okay, citizens will have to have one. Well, the plan is that we're going to roll this out by the end of
No, the question is, what if I don't? What if I've got my job, so I don't need to show this to anyone, so what if I just don't do it?
So if you don't have one, then you'll have a problem if you want to get a new job.
No, I'm saying I'm not doing this. I'm not seeking a job, so why should I get the digital ID card? Why do I do it? Is there some fine for not doing it? Is there an incentive to do it? I'm just thinking I've got no reason to do it.
Yeah, look, this isn't a heavy-handed approach. We're not planning to go around finding people. But what we are going to do is make sure that everybody's got one. In the same way, Charlie, as you've got a national insurance number, if you're a citizen of this country, we'll make sure that everybody has a digital ID.
So help me with this. I know we're plotting through this, but everyone watching who's got a job has got a national insurance number. So when these digital ID cards exist, if I just go to my employer and show them my national insurance number, is that not sufficient? Are they being precluded from employing me?
It won't be sufficient. I just want to be really clear about that.
So they can't.
Labour's new message to the British people: no digital ID card, no job. It's a new world where you don't just need skills, you don't just need the right attitude or experience. No,
being precluded from employing you.
It won't be sufficient. I just want to be really clear about that.
So they can't.
Labour's new message to the British people: no digital ID card, no job. It's a new world where you don't just need skills, you don't just need the right attitude or experience. No, you need an app. Forget your CV, forget your interview. If your barcode don't scan, you're out. What happened to human touch? You go for an interview, you succeed, you hand over your ID card, yet the system fails. The computer says no. Labour reassures us it's all for our own good. Labour's big brother won't just be watching you, he's hiring you and firing you. Just make sure your phone don't run out of battery. Otherwise, it's congratulations, you're unemployed.
Oh my.
Thrown into the abandoned house. What was captured next was truly horrifying.
Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un encore qui habite ici? Waouh, l'état de la cave. C'est quoi ça?
In the clip, you can see him carefully moving through and the air feels unnaturally still. Then, he heads to the basement. This is where everything changes. From the dark corner of the room, a figure appears. Something unnatural. A pale, twisted creature, peeking from the edge, watching and waiting. Before the ghost hunter could react, the creature lunged at him. The recording cuts off abruptly. What happened next remains unknown.
Was one time a group of workers who appeared to be working a most extreme shift pattern that I've ever seen, which was 31 days non-stop working with 1 day off, and then 31 days on, 1 day off. They just begged for help. Please help. They were exhausted. There was actually someone who said that 2 of their colleagues had died on the job through lack of sleep, long working hours, and just the stress of having to continue producing oil, and it killed them. So there was these 2 tracks really: exploitation of people and local environment, exploitation of the planet, wholesale. So Shell in particular and others have been extracting oil and gas in the Niger Delta for over 70 years. When they arrived, it was paradise, and now it's hell on earth. And when I first arrived, there'd actually been a pretty big incident just outside Nigeria on the coast, so an offshore oil production vessel, which had had a spill that produced a slick the size of Belgium. If you go and look at a map and see the size of Belgium, that's a massive oil spill. And what happens is, because it was very coastal, that oil was just washing up on the shore, going up the Niger Delta rivers, into people's lands, affecting their livelihoods, affecting their health, affecting their ability to fish and farm, or even have any hope of clean water. It didn't make the news. It made the news so little that when I started working with that operation, I didn't even know that that had happened.
It's going down when the economy isn't doing well. That is when some of the great companies took off. Some of the great companies were born. And there's so many examples of this. So there are always opportunities in the adversity. But are we focusing on the problem? Are we focusing on all the things that aren't going right? Are we complaining? Is that where we're stuck? Or are we actually looking for the opportunities? Are we looking for the silver linings? Because they are there. But it's up to us to find them. So when I say we are limiting ourselves, that's always what we do. We limit ourselves up here. Because we believe, oh, it's a tough time, therefore the business is going to go down, therefore things aren't going to go so well. But these are just beliefs that we carry. And of course, whatever we believe, that's the way life unfolds. So we need to take a look at our beliefs, our psychology, our mindset, and perhaps make a few tweaks there. And not just think, oh, we're facing problems, therefore everything's difficult. Rather look like, yeah, okay, there are some serious challenges, but how am I limiting myself? How am I limiting my department? How are we limiting where Umoyo can go during this time? What are the silver linings? Where are the opportunities? Where can we find those and take advantage of those?
God, he loves you. Look at your eyes. He loves you so much. How do you think he's in love with you? I'm in love with him. I think he's in love with you. Look at you. Look at you. Has he grown? Has he grown, darling? A little bit.
More than 1,000 people may have been secretly filmed by hidden cameras on a Royal Caribbean cruise. A new lawsuit is seeking damages for passengers on the Symphony of the Seas who were unknowingly photographed and filmed by their room attendant while undressed and engaged in private activities. It comes just months after former employee Arvin Joseph Mirasol was sentenced to 30 years in prison after pleading guilty to producing child pornography. Mirasol allegedly claimed he wanted to control it but can't. The passenger who filed the lawsuit said she suffered severe emotional distress after discovering she was photographed. A spokesperson for Royal Caribbean told USA Today, "The safety and privacy of our guests is our highest priority, and we have zero tolerance for this behavior."
Once again, when you talk about aura, you better speak on this bear. This is the boss. That's his name, no relation. He's a 700-pound walking boulder of a bear and an anime plot device in a grizzly's body. The boss has been recorded catching, murking, and eating multiple black bears.
What?
In fact, one of the first times he was ever seen was next to an expired bear, and officials had to close down the trail until the boss was done eating it. At one point, the boss hit a train and was tragically put down. The train, I mean. Oh, you didn't hear me. I said the bear hit the train. Boss ate that like it was nothing. He even shows up to the same tracks just to eat the animals that weren't strong enough to survive what he walked off. As mentioned, Boss was roughly the size of 2 prime shacks. That's a whole plus-size predator. He was and is the biggest bear in the area, and it's believed he fathered more than 70% of all the bears in the area code. Mind you, he's believed to be up to 27 years old. Hey, twins, when the average male grizzly bear lives to 25. Which means by the time getting jumped, this bear on a LeBron type of run. And you know a bear that survived a literal train barely second-guesses cars, and the boss regularly crosses high-speed highways. It's anime plot armor with predatory hardware. The boss even has his own antagonist. That would be this guy, Split Lip. They've been running phase for years, and they've been in the same area for 15, so this beef may have marinated for over a decade. But I don't think Boss has taken an L yet.
ليش هيك حامل اخوك؟ طيب وين مودياها؟ وانت مش تعبانه وانت حاملاها هيك؟ تعبانه ولا لا؟ وين رايحه انت هالبيت؟ في المنتزه البريج؟ طب تعال اخذك معايا. يلا اطلع باخذها معايا. بتحبي اختك عشان حملاكي كانت؟ طالع عليا. يلا مع السلامة. Hi, I'm Leanne. Hey, Leanne.
I feel weak. I regret it. I regret it. I regret it. I regret it.
It's too late now.
Woo! Happy birthday, Will! See you later! No, I'm scared.
No.
Okay, I want you to lean back. Lean back? Yeah, a little bit. Don't move, just lean. Okay, and you'll be on my feet, yeah? Yep. Okay.
He's stepping on his shoes, man.
More? Yep. Oh, I can't do it, I can't. Okay. Hey, Leanne. Yep. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
I'm alive.